big week 17 happened. Lots of teams got eliminated from the playoffs, or their hopes are just barely alive. So let's jump into the recap. So sadly, it is just me today. Mason has to work, but it's alright because I'm still going to bang this out just as good as we usually do. For our winners, that should say week 17, but week 17 winners, we got 13 out of 16 correct. The only 3 we got wrong were the Saints, which I said the Raiders were going to win. The Colts, which honestly, that Colts game was kind of surprising because I did not expect Drew Lock to have one of the greatest quarterback performances of all time, and I'm pretty sure that's actually true, like statistically speaking. We also did not expect the Steelers to play like absolute dog doo-doo. So that's our 3 wrongs. Everything else, though, we killed it this week. I mean, 81% correct. Like, you can't complain with that. And then, moving on to our best performances, the Lions. Obviously, they tore it up against the 49ers. I didn't get to watch the game, but to my understanding, they scored 40 points. So they did something. The Buccaneers, Baker Mayfield, masterclass. I mean, week in and week out, he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Minus his, you got to look at his turnovers. And you got to remember, Josh Allen was doing that a few years back. So it's like, you know, the Giants make this list probably for the first time of the season and probably for the last time of the season because for some reason, Drew Lock decided to say, you know, no first round pick this week. We don't need it. You know, let me go out there, throw 5 touchdowns or 5 total touchdowns, I think. Like, yeah. And then the Eagles, they killed it. They ran through their second and third string quarterbacks that game. Saquon hit over 2,000 yards. I mean, that was just a great day in Philly. And then finally, the Chargers, they absolutely just blew out the other team in their game. I forgot who they played, if I'm being honest, but they killed them. Then, overly bad performances. Seahawks Bears. Now, me and Mason made a video on that. Great video. You should go watch it. We were at that game. You know, the Bears put up 3 points. The Seahawks put up 6. Me and Mason went to that game for bragging rights for who could say has the better team. We both walked away, neither of us being able to brag about anything. So, you know, the Jets, I watched a little bit of that game with my family. It was sad. They were doing nothing. Because I was seeing it when they had 0 points still against the Bills, and they were just getting, it was sad, you know. And I already mentioned the Steelers earlier. They only put up 10 points. They've fallen apart since they got 10 wins. I don't really know what happened, but, you know, that's how Mike Tomlin does it. Got a playoff spot and calls it quits from there. The Patriots, they just looked horrible. They put up nothing against the Chargers. I think 7 points against 40. So, I mean, they just existed. And then, obviously, the Texans put up 2 points, that being a safety against the Ravens, which is tragic. But, yeah, that's rough. Then moving on to our contenders. These are our final contenders. We're not changing these. I do want to say next week, if the Bengals make the playoffs, which would mean the Dolphins lose a game, and then if the Dolphins lose this week to the Jets, and the Chiefs beat the Broncos. That's what needs to happen for the Bengals to win. I would put them on this list, but because they're not a playoff lock yet, I'm not gonna. But this is our final, for the most part, playoff contenders. Down the middle, left side we have the NFC, right side the AFC. Notice 3 teams from the NFC North, because they're all amazing. And then on the other side here, you know, AFC North has 2 teams, but then obviously the Chiefs and Bills. And yeah, Steelers are kind of up there. Honestly, they're a toss-up team, but maybe the Chargers, like a sneaky pick for the Chargers. This is really who I'm going to imagine seeing in the Super Bowl. 2 of these 8 teams. And then yeah, moving on from that to our power rankings. Nothing crazy this week. Chiefs moved up finally. You know, I've hated to move the Chiefs up, but they looked okay this week. I still don't like the Chiefs, and you know that watching this channel. We really don't think they're amazing. Their record doesn't show their whole story, but they're worthy of moving up definitely this week. Buccaneers moved up a ton. They've shown, I think, the past 4 weeks that they are one of the best offenses in the league, so they easily deserve to move up. Ravens moved down 1 because the Eagles moved up. Light 1 little there. Packers moved up a few. Broncos moved down a bunch because they're right there when it comes to their playoff stuff. So it's like they're looking okay. They could be way better. Same with the Steelers, they moved down a bunch. Texans moved down because they just look rough these past few weeks. Dolphins moved up a few. Falcons moved up a few. Bears and Seahawks both moved down. Really, everything in the back half, we didn't change that much. other than the really just flipping the Panthers and the Bears. Other than that, though, yeah, nothing crazy on the worst side of the league. And I kind of think I like where it's at right now. It seems pretty what it should be. So we'll keep that as is. Playoff picture. I think I mentioned this earlier when I was talking about the teams we have winning or going to the Super Bowl at least. We got the NFC with the Lions at the 1, the Eagles at the 2, the Rams at the 3, sadly, the Bucks at the 4, and that is the only spot that can be changed this week, or be, I guess, changed with a new team coming in, right? My understanding is that if the Buccaneers lose this week and the Falcons win, which the Falcons are playing the Panthers, the Bucks are playing the Saints. Realistically, both teams should win, right? But say it by some force of God, the Bucks lose to the Saints and the Falcons beat the Panthers. I believe the Falcons make the playoffs over the Bucks, which would suck because I really want to see Baker Mayfield in the playoffs. But as it sits right now, these are the rankings. With the NFC and the AFC, I had mentioned that the Bengals are in a weird spot right now because they need the Broncos to lose and the Dolphins to lose, and then they make it in if they win their game, assuming they beat the Steelers, I believe. Or yeah, they're playing the Steelers. So who knows what's going to happen there. And yeah, that's going to be it's going to be an exciting week 18, honestly, because I mean, I don't know. It's just it's been good football this year, that's for sure. And then fantasy. Oh, this was exciting. I absolutely killed it this week. Baker Mayfield, 34.56, the number 2 ranked quarterback on the week. Jahmyr Gibbs, 26.3. Jonathan Taylor, 27.6. The numbers 1 and 2 running backs on the week. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 20. Mike Evans, 29.7. I think Mike Evans was like the number maybe 3 wide receiver, and Amon-Ra was like 6. I'm just like that. And then Brock Bowers, 14.6, could be better, but you can't complain with that from a tight end. 14.6, great. I think he was the number 5 tight end of the week. Lad McConkey, 29.4. Another absolute dog this week. And then finally, the Bills defense with 15, which they were the number 3, I think, this week in fantasy, putting up for a total of 197.16 points. This is our best week in fantasy we've ever predicted. And mostly thanks to me. If Mason watches this video and sees this, I hope he does, because all me. But we killed it this week regardless. And moving on to our division leaders. Most of the divisions are clinched at this point. All the AFC ones, we know who's their first seed. In the NFC, though, the Rams sadly clinched this last week. The Buccaneers are right there. They need to win this week, really, is their big thing. Eagles obviously clinched, but then the Vikings and the Lions, both 14-2. This week they are going head-to-head for who gets the both first division in their first in their division and first in their conference, because the winner would be 15-2, obviously. And these are 2 of the best teams in football. Actually, aside from the Chiefs, they have the best 2 records in the league. So they are the number 2 and 3 best team in football off record. Do I think that they're the number 2 and 3? No, I think they're the numbers 1 and 4, whatever I'd said in my power rankings. But they're going to make the playoffs regardless. This week, though, is huge because one team's going to get a bye and one team's going to be the 5th seed. So, it's a really important week. Really good games, Sunday Night Football. And, yeah, I mean, NFL cooked with that one. The script kind of came in clutch there. And then finally, we're going to spin for our video that we're going to be making on a player this weekend. Alright, so if you don't know how it goes by this point, we've done this for the past, we've done it most weeks this season. We spin for a team, we get that team, and we make a wheel of players from that team, and then we make a video on the player we spin for. A lot of spinning and a lot of wheels, but let's see who we're getting a player from this week. This week, we're going to be making maybe a player from the Washington Redskins / Washington Commanders, or the Washington football team. So, yeah, I'm gonna whip up a little list for these people and see who we get. All right, I got our list consisting of McLaurin, Joe Theismann, Kirk O'Chains, RG3, and Sean Alexander. A lot of big names here. And yeah, I'll see who we're making a video on. And we're gonna be making a video on oh my goodness, we're gonna be making a video on someone that just got cut from the Atlanta Falcons, or is going to get cut. he got benched at least. And, you know, one playoff win, and he's one of the most played players in NFL history. So why not make a video on Kirko? Big Kirko chains. So yeah, look out for that video either this upcoming Saturday or Monday. One of the two for sure. So yeah, look out for that. Then yeah, as you just saw, Kirko chains is who we're making our video on, which gotta love the man. He's an electric player to watch, to say the least. But then yeah, finally on to our awards for the week to wrap the video up. Best team of the week is the Bills, and worst team of the week is the Jets. Usually these end up just being matchups, because, you know, the worse the team plays against you, the better you're gonna do. So, you know, it kind of goes hand in hand. Obviously, this game was sad. Trubisky went in, scored a touchdown on one. He was 1 for 1, 69 yards and a touchdown. I mean, how are you gonna let that happen? Like, it doesn't matter. Player of the week, Joe Burrow, 3 touchdowns, 400 some yards. Proven week in, week out that he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, if not top 3, if not number 1. Sometimes I wouldn't say he's the best in the league, but he can be number 1 depending on the week. And this week especially, showing up when a much needed playoff win, or playoff chances win that went into overtime. He came through for his team. And another guy that came through for his team that went hand in hand with Joe Burrow was the fantasy player of the week, T. Higgins. Put up 3 touchdowns, I want to say 8 receptions and 100 some yards. Like, he put up 36 fantasy points, I believe it is. And, I mean, they killed it, the Bengals. I mean, they didn't, like, play amazing, defensively speaking, because their defense was not, you know, the other team was keeping up. But, I mean, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, you can't stop them. Like, it's insane. There's a slight chance Joe Burrow passes 5,000 yards this season, which would be insane to see. And if I want the Bengals to make the playoffs so bad, so I'm praying they do. But yep, that's where I'm going to end this one. Hopefully you like this. If you disagree with anything we've said in this one, which is not much to like disagree with, maybe our power rankings, feel free. And if you agree with us, let us know, because we love responding to comments, as you've seen in our other videos. And yeah, thanks for watching, and like, comment, subscribe. Do it for the algorithm. It's usually Mason's line, but he's not here. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Later.